Welcome, everyone. My name is Karen, and I'll be the host for today's webinar. The topic is Beyond the Diploma, discussing the real value of a university education. And we have invited alumni from various degree programs to speak about their experience both as a student and also what carried them through to their present positions or life circumstances. So Maharishi International University, our main tagline is Home of Consciousness-Based Education. And as people are coming into the Zoom room here, I want you to feel free to chat anytime and connect with us and be a part of our conversation. So I'll say a little bit more about your participation. But first of all, I'm going to give a general introduction to our university, the Home of Consciousness-Based Education. This is our homepage. You've probably seen it already. And I think one of the most interesting things about this university website is that it's really a statement of values and almost like a lifestyle choice. You see fresh organic meals. That's a picture of our food from our cafeteria, which serves organic food and allows you to maintain a very healthy diet. We're also emphasizing self-knowledge and inner growth. And that's the part that's really connected to this theme of consciousness-based education. There's so many definitions and paradigms for consciousness. And the one that we adopt is that consciousness with a capital C is fundamentally this field of intelligence and consciousness that's underlying everything. And it's also referring to our own individual consciousness, our sense of self-awareness, and something that we develop and cultivate as a community. It's a value. It's a very, very important value. So to that end, one of the features for developing consciousness is this transcendental meditation technique. It's the meditation type that all of our students learn, all of our staff and faculty, they learn as well. And we have a number of programs to support the integration of that practice because it is a new lifestyle habit. And part of those efforts include organizing group meditations. This is a resource available for our online community. But if you also have a chance to study on campus or come to Fairfield, we organize group meditations. We have 2 beautiful domes. There's other points to emphasize, but you can read those points here. The point to emphasize today is that this is a university culture with heart, and that comes naturally when you develop a community around a common set of values, especially where we're integrating self-development along the way. And our panelists today will speak a bit to what they learned and get to both the aspect of the degree program, the subject matter, and also any other values that came with their university experience. A few more points about our university. It's a fully accredited nonprofit university accredited by the Higher Learning Commission. Financial aid is available, and you can complete your FAFSA at fafsa.gov. There is a financial aid calculator on the website. It only takes a few seconds, and it's pretty accurate, so you can get an idea of how much aid you qualify for. So before we continue, I just want to get a sense of our participants today. So first of all, what drew you to this webinar, and which degree programs are you interested in? Or what features of this university really compelled you to consider a degree program? So if you could chat in your name and your area of interest, that will help us to converse with you in a more personalized way. Okay, so we have Matt, interested in enlightened leadership and consciousness and creative writing. If you were like me, when I first looked at the website, I really wanted to major in everything. So I completely understand if you've got multiple areas of interest. So Carter, computer science. Felicia, Taylor, what are you interested in? Love to know. David, interested in David Lynch's screenwriting program. Yeah, I can see we have a good representative for that. This is our lineup of programs. Some of these are available at the undergraduate level, some of them as graduate or PhD. And we can take a moment to look through them. Hi, Dawood, here for regenerative agriculture. Very cool. Yes, believe it or not, we do teach regenerative agriculture online. Pretty cool idea. Okay, so in today's webinar, we'll be exploring these three questions. What's the value of an MIU diploma? And beyond the diploma, what did you experience at MIU that stayed with you? And we'll also be hearing personal stories from our alumni. Now it's time to meet our panelists. I'm going to stop the screen and have all of our panelists turn on their videos. And Baruti, if you could get your tag to include the information, year of graduation, and what you studied. That way we can get a sense of your relationship to MIU at a glance. And I see a couple questions came in, so let me just check here. We have only about half an hour with our cherished alumni here, so maybe it's about one time that we'll hear from all of them, maybe a couple follow-up questions. So let's start with Alex. And can you tell us a little bit about what drew you to MIU and share anything related to those three questions that charmed you?
Sure. Hey, so hi everybody. So my name is Alex, and I'm calling in from Spain right now, which is where I'm based. Um, I studied business administration at MIU, and I also worked for a bit, and then I came back and did my MBA there. After I graduated, I went on to do a bunch of different things. The the latest of which was I had my own animated series that did fairly well, and I got to work for the New York Times, making animated videos and things like that. Um, the biggest sort of experience that I wanted to share about MIU is the which was life-changing for me at the time, was finding a tribe of people that I really felt were on the same wavelength. It was very hard for me when I started getting into meditation, into personal development, to find that tribe in the places where I was living because they were all scattered and all over the place. And when I became part of the MIU community, it was like, these are my people, and so that's just it's a very powerful feeling to have that. And also then that becomes a very supportive environment, and a lot of easy self-development can come out of that. So I'm
I
trying to
think you
keep it
got
as
a
short as possible,
yeah.
but
Well, I think you
I
got a
can
big
talk I
long
can talk for
yeah.
hours, as you know, but
Oh yeah. Speak about that speaking for hours thing.
Sure.
Your
So
crazy thing.
in my background, I've done a lot of sort of fun marketing things, and one of them was while I was part of the community in Fairfield in Iowa, I briefly held the Guinness World Record for longest speech marathon. I spoke for 36 hours and 46 minutes. And it was part of a project. I was promoting a public speaking website that I was running at the time. And so I got a bunch of press, and then I got to sleep for 2 days straight afterwards. So
I was one of the witnesses. I remember signing off to
yeah.
the 2 hours that I attended.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, Matt says, I literally love the vibe and you all seem like someone to hang out with. So legit amazing people. Well, so you got a little bit about Alex. So if there's any follow-up questions later that would be specific to Alex, I will definitely come back to you. Um, Daniel, would you share a little bit more about what brought you to MIU, why you chose this place, and maybe a couple points about the value of your education?
Yes. Hello, everybody. Daniel Bramlett, graduated in 2018. So what brought me to MIU was meditation and to finish out my degree. I was a transfer student, so I had already earned a couple associate degrees and wasn't too sure exactly what I wanted to do as far as a career. But I knew I wanted to learn how to meditate, um, and learn a specific technique. And I knew I wanted to study consciousness and human potential to finish out my degree. So this place just fit every category. And then as far as transfer credits, I had a lot of transfer credits, and it came in really handy because their program accepts those. And so I was able to finish out a bachelor's degree in a year with all my transfer credits. And on top of that, I got to study what I wanted, which was mostly consciousness. And as far as, did you ask, Karen, did you ask how it came in handy?
Yes,
Or,
staying on topic, if you could make any connections to like, well, what is the value of you finished out your degree here?
oh,
Yeah, any value from that?
yes. What I can say is the experience, the information, and knowledge that I've gained through the college experience um, not only has helped me out personally in my personal life with my social connections, mentally and emotionally, being able to cope better with stress and navigate the issues that come up in life. But professionally, I work for the federal government. I work at the Veterans Affairs, and I help people in the recovery process for mental health and addictions. My focus is addictions, and my degree or degrees come in handy not only from the information experiences that I've gained, but professionally, I'm eligible for higher pay grades and considered for promotions much more than someone that doesn't. Specifically with the federal government, they have policies. So certain fields, you have to have a degree, and certain fields, if you do have a degree, you're eligible automatically for specifically high pay grades, and that's what I fall under. Um,
Well, David says he's a Navy vet here, so thank you for what you're
all
doing to
right.
help out veterans. Yeah.
You're welcome. And it's my pleasure. It's my passion in life. I didn't know what that was before I came to MIU, and I started to find out through that process. Now, I didn't find out right after graduation either. So I actually stuck around for quite a few years after graduation and did a lot of meditation, was a residential director for the university. And through that process, I was able to go, okay, what do I want to do when I grow up? Yeah. But, you know, and I, being my age, which now I'm 43, that was a big thing. But generally speaking, I would say the most fundamental thing that I've experienced was the development of my individual consciousness. My perception of reality has expanded and enveloped much more of a broad spectrum of what life has to offer. That's
Mm.
what's most important to me is my mental and emotional state and my perception, my psychological maturity, so that I can live the most fulfilling life that I can possibly live.
That's
Any
amazing.
questions
Thank you
about
so much.
that?
No, I think you captured an amazing set of ideas. So, um, well, Janetta, if I'm saying that right, Daniel, you use the word stress. Do you yourself, since gaining your degree, do you use the word to describe experiences in your life?
Oh,
Oh,
yes,
do you yeah. Hmm.
I will define stress in several ways. So, stress in everyday life, having experiences that cause a disruption in the coherent functioning of my being, right? So I get frustrated and angry in certain situations. I'm taking on stress. And another definition would be the experiences and traumas that we've had that have accumulated and caused problems with our thinking, with our physiological functioning, and with our behaviors. So when it comes to stress, I take it very seriously. The university takes it very seriously as far as learning how to release stress and cope with it.
That's
Does that
good.
help?
So that works really well. And if you want to follow through with Ashley on the chat, you're welcome to. You don't have to, but
Okay,
thank you so much. And I think it's
you're
a good
welcome.
time to go to Aisha because we want to define this technique that we use at the university. We definitely honor all practices and all services that support self-development, but there is a very particular technique that we have everyone learn here. And well, Aisha, introduce yourself and also maybe tell us what you've done since graduating, and then maybe tell us what this technique is.
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Aisha, and I'm calling in from Vancouver, Canada. That's where I'm living right now. And I did do the Cinematic Arts and New Media program when I was at MIU, and I graduated in 2020. And I knew about MIU for most of my life because my parents were TM teachers. They taught TM back in the 90s. And so this was actually something that I grew up with. And so for kids who are below the age of 10, people as young as 10 can learn transcendental meditation. And below the age of 10, there's a children's technique. So I actually learned the children's technique when I was 5, and I learned TM when I was 11. And I went through my rebellious teenage phase of not really wanting to practice it. But I knew about MIU, and I knew that there was a university where everyone practiced transcendental meditation. And I did not want to go there because I did not want to study consciousness and I didn't want to study Vedic science. I wanted to be an actor and I wanted to do film stuff. I wanted to be an artist. And then I did go off and study creative things in Montreal, in Canada. But the program ended up not working out for me, so I started looking for other options. And I somehow found out that MIU had a film program. And I went, what? They do things other than Vedic science and consciousness? What? So I ended up coming to Fairfield and I ended up studying video editing and filming and really diving into that experience of becoming an artist and claiming the title of artist for myself. The wonderful thing about learning transcendental meditation, or about even just practicing it alongside either a creative process or whatever things that you want to do in your life, is that it just supports whatever it is that you're doing. Like if you're an artist, then it supports your creativity. If you're a scientist, it really helps to give that clarity and focus and drive. If you're someone who is raising a family, then it really encourages and supports that love and understanding with your kids, so really whatever it is you're doing, or if you're a student, it really helps with that enjoyment and clarity and balancing all the things you have to deal with as a student. Because transcendental meditation is a technique where the mind settles down to finer and finer levels of thought, and then even transcends that finest level of thought, and you experience this state of pure awareness, which is a unified field of consciousness. And because it's this unified aspect of life, then there's this sense of connection that you gain with the people around you because you're all having this experience of unity. And so someone mentioned in the chat how they thought that we all seem like we get along really well. And before this webinar started, we were just hanging out chatting, even though a bunch of us have never met before. And there's this sense of connection and community because we all practice this technique where we bring our mind to a unified field of life. And so that unified aspect really creates this sense of connection, and it creates it when you're in person on campus. It creates it even if you're online connecting with these people, because that field transcends everything in person, everything online. And so that sense of connection comes from this really deep value of life that transcendental meditation allows us to access. And that community is so deeply enriching and enjoying. And wonderful because there's that sense of knowingness and connection on a deeper level than just those superficial values of sharing common ideas, or we both like movies, or we both like creative things, and those are wonderful too, but this really brings that sense of deeper connection, and those connections stay with you for the rest of your life, I have to say.
Around the world too, so you can travel and see your friends.
Exactly.
Yeah, it happens a lot. So
Exactly.
Angelo has a very specific comment to you, and you're welcome to take that in the chat too. Someone who's been part of the arts and acting. Um,
Yeah. Oh, and I guess
but
I
I
should
want to,
add that I'm a
yeah,
TM teacher now.
yes, yes.
After I graduated, I did work doing podcast editing and video editing. Um, and I ended up becoming a TM teacher because the editing that I was doing after I graduated was for Dr. Tony Nader, who is the head of the Global Transcendental Meditation Organization. And so he has a podcast and a YouTube channel, Consciousness is All There Is. So all this content I was editing was about consciousness and meditation. And I was
So I'm going to
thinking,
lean in right there because there's
yes.
an important update. Within the last year, Dr. Tony Nader became the president of Maharishi International University. So if anyone's coming in through the consciousness paradigm, have come in through his work, now there's a much more like integrated pathway between the work that he's doing and the university function. So we could go on, but important points to highlight from Aisha is that there is a teacher training program to become a meditation teacher. She did the in residence portion. There is an online version that's in development, will be launching this summer. So we have to move along to, going to move along to Nina. And Nina, please speak to any point, maybe a new thing that we haven't addressed. What brought you to MIU? Maybe that really cool film project that you worked on, if you wanted to touch upon
Yeah,
that.
sure.
Mhm.
Actually, the reason I came to MIU was not the meditation so much, so I can't speak about that. It was more about the block system and the sustainable living program that drew me. Of course, also the idea of conscious-based education and the meditating, and I love the idea of the vegetarian diet and just the whole thing together was very curious to me. Before MIU, I didn't really think about going to university because I couldn't really see myself in that kind of facility. So then when I found out about that special place, I was like, oh, that sounds more like something I could do. Um, And one of the main things that were most important to me at MIU was actually the international experience, meeting people from everywhere. And now it's actually, at this point, it's becoming a problem because I have friends all over the world and I want to visit everyone and I can't afford it. Like, I can't go to China and to Turkey and to Uganda, and it's just everywhere. And just learning from like all these different cultures and different people about food and music and languages and just all that was one of the most meaningful experiences for me. And in terms of studying, I took media and sustainability, and both of them are very hands-on programs. So it was a lot of just doing by hands. In the sustainable living program, we did a lot of hands-on stuff, and at the media, we did video editing and filming and lighting and sound and so many things that only later, when I came back to my country, I found out that most people don't learn all these things. And I was like, wow, I have an advantage that I know a little bit about everything. Um, and I can keep going, so I don't
That's
but
good.
that's
Now I
the
think,
main
yeah, we get a
takeaways.
sense. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I like that you're addressing there's other reasons that people come here. It don't have to be a meditation centric person, but you get to still enjoy so many other aspects. And I know you did a really amazing film project, but maybe we have to move on to Baruti. Um, and if there's time, we can get back to you. But Baruti, I want to know what you'd like to address. Perhaps it's something about what you study, but you're also welcome to speak purely about the benefits since that time, earning
Mm.
your PhD and living in Boston. So feel free to share anything from your heart.
Well, first, I want to say thank you for the invitation to actually be here today. And as I said before, I was teaching today, so getting a chance to teach TM and follow up with teaching this morning with now being here on the panel to discuss both TM and MIU, it's an honor to be here. So thank you for the invitation to be here. As Karen mentioned, I did both my master's and PhD at MIU. I did the Consciousness and Human Potential program for the master's, did my PhD, and my research was examining mystical experiences among Freemasons and collected 148 respondents and defended my dissertation in 2023 and graduated. And since that time, it has augmented what we do here in terms of teaching TM in the metropolitan Boston. My wife and I are both TM teachers and have been here for 12 years this year, teaching TM. As a matter of fact, my anniversary for the men's course concluding was 20 January. So it makes 12 years that certified to teach TM and have been here the entire time teaching TM because we were recruited to come to Cambridge because there hadn't been a center in the area since 1996. And so they figured we'd be a good fit, my wife and I, and had an opportunity to really embed ourselves within the Harvard community, MIT community, and have met and worked with a number of people. I gave a talk in 2017 at the Divinity School discussing consciousness and human potential as well. And so that was a lot of fun. And in terms of what TM has done for me personally, it just allows me to think much more clearly, much more effectively, allowed me to look back over the course of my life and see that everything that has occurred, particularly for the last 16 years now, be 17 this year, of practicing TM, came as a result of TM. And even being here teaching TM and observing those who learn with my wife and I, and they undergo their experiences and share them with us in either text messages or emails or attending our monthly group meditations and sharing with those who are in attendance. And so it allows us to think much more clearly, much more effectively. It's not only personal, but it's also professional. We give talks. I gave a talk recently to a group of athletes who are wanting to learn TM. And so when you are a walking embodiment of, as my advisor for my doctoral program would often say, you don't merely experience being, you become being. And what we are discussing is this underlying field of pure consciousness that's resident within everyone and throughout the entirety of the universe. TM helps to facilitate you having that interior experience, but not only having the experience, you come to live the experience and you live it. Maharshi, in his book, The Science of Being and Art of Living, the hardcover version, on page 100, he says, through the practice of transcendental meditation, one automatically makes full use of one's surroundings. And I know how that can sound to someone who is new to TM and new to a discussion of consciousness. But you come to, I think what he's really saying there is you kind of take that step back and you examine the world around you. And it's in that taking that step back, you go from stimulus and reaction to stimulus and response. And the response is cultivated because you bring that with you from the meditation into your day. And that allows you to not only get out of the way, but stay out of the way. Allow the ideas to surface and you to then select and act on them. And you really put into place, if you will, you set the stage for a much more beneficial outcome. It comes because you take that calmness and quietude with you into your day. And that impacts, again, in professional settings. It impacts when you're out socially. It impacts when you're just navigating life with your family and someone says or does something. You come from the space of, okay, this person is clearly stressed. Do I choose to engage the situation or do I choose to take a step back? And it doesn't take seconds. It's really nanoseconds that these ideas surface and you act on them and you set the stage for a much more beneficial outcome. And so for me, working with people who come through and learn TM it's a great honor because, Maharishi in 1958 presented the technique to the world, bringing it out of the shadows and really reviving it after had really been lost, if you will, to the public. And it's a technique, as many of you know, it's been around for literally thousands of years. And to be in this modern scientific age, to have the honor to research what I get to research and speak about what I get to speak about, to think that there was an academic discipline that afforded me that opportunity, that was a blessing that I didn't know that I needed. But when I learned of it, I recognized it and just jumped head first. And here we are today.
Baruti, can I ask you a question?
Oh, please, by all means.
As the two TM teachers on here, I guess three, including Karen, one of the people in the chat was asking about how teaching TM helps to develop our creative process. And I was curious what your own experience with that was.
Oh, that's an excellent question. During the writing of my dissertation, there are several, my dissertation is publicly available. You can find it online. And I recall I was working on a particular diagram that's in the dissertation. And for some reason, I just couldn't get it right. I was doing it in Photoshop, creating it in Photoshop, and I couldn't get it right. I went to bed that night after being frustrated because it was such a complicated diagram that I went to bed that night and I woke the next day and it just clicked. It clicked in the sense of the clarity to step away from it, and it allowed me to create the diagram. Also, too, in cases of finding passages from books that I had read, years ago, and idea surfacing says, oh, that passage from X book would be a great passage to add here. And on more than a few occasions, either myself, my wife, or our daughter would go to one of the bookshelves and pull the book off the shelf, and I'd hand the book to me. I'd open the book, guess what? To the page that was needed. I didn't have to search for the passage. And that happened so many times. And just the flow of everything, it's something that there's a refinement that occurs, and that interior refinement is made manifest in every aspect of your life. It reminds me of a quote that comes from Benjamin Elijah Mays, a past president of Morehouse College in Atlanta, where he says, the circumference of life cannot be rightly drawn until the center is set. The circumference of life, the things around you, can't be rightly drawn until the center is set. He didn't say they couldn't be drawn. He said they couldn't be rightly drawn. And here I'm thinking of Maharishi's famous phrase of right action. And so when you center yourself, in pure being, you can't but bring that with you into your day to greater and greater effect. And so for me, I found that it allows me to listen, to act, and in acting, not knowing the potential outcome, I just know. My wife and I were discussing the other day about this person with whom we're dealing from a professional perspective. And I said to her, I don't trust him, but I trust nature. And so she had a good chuckle about that. And it's something that has worked out to our benefit, even in a matter of a couple of days. So that's what it's allowed me to do. So thank you for that, Aisha.
And what classes do you teach at MIU?
Oh, at MIU, I teach a class in what is it called? The department that, which one is it now? It's in the
Forest Academies
it's
or
Forest
Department of
Academy.
Martial.
It was a Forest Academy course, and then there's one in the Arts and Sciences class. I teach on the history of people of African ancestry and perseverance. And Maharishi's famous article from 1967, 68 within Ebony magazine after Dr. King was assassinated said that meditation can solve the race problem. And so I get a privilege of teaching that class whenever students want to sign up for it. And I get to talk about that text and a host of others and bring speakers in to discuss consciousness and human potential with the students as well. So I get a chance to do that also.
And
Is that
how
a
do
Forest Academy?
the chat is exploding. How do people find you?
Oh, oh,
Everyone wants to read your stuff. Where do they find you?
I'm on social media. Just type my name in and it'll pop up. And in terms of the dissertation, anyone can send me an email to Baruti, Baruti at MIU, and I'll send you the PDF version of my dissertation.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm gonna have to, well, Richie, go ahead and enjoy the chat. I don't know if I can catch everything. It says preach truth. Um, yeah. Okay. So we're actually coming to the end of the webinar, but I wanted Alex to close us out and just ask a very practical question. How has your MIU experience helped you with job opportunities? I mean, sometimes our degree programs are really sort of out of the box. Um, so are we able to support ourselves and get a salary after a degree at MIU? That's the question.
Sure. Before I answer that question, though, I just want to make a comment. Like what Baruti was talking about, what we've been talking about here, like these are the types of conversations that students have in the cafeteria and in the dorms and like in classrooms and stuff. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. That was a nice flashback. Be like, all right, like spend so much time like deconstructing reality and talking about the nature of, why we're here and all that. So um, yes, so the practical question, can you what is the value afterwards? For me, the um one of the greatest values of being a student at MIU was being able to have this very supportive environment where you could experiment and try different things. While I was a student, I started a student newspaper just out of my own like initiative. And because I started a student newspaper, after I graduated with my MBA, thinking like, oh, I'm gonna work in business and all this stuff, I ended up working at a magazine because I had experience running this thing that I had created. And that led to a whole host of other opportunities where we ended up taking over the publication. Crazy story. But that's one aspect of it. The other one is that I think is very valuable to talk about is, and somebody touched on it already, is the network and the tribe around the world. So I've been working remotely for over 10 years now. I've lived and worked out of 35 different countries at least. And pretty much in every country I go to, I can find some connection to MIU or somebody that I know. And so I'll like arrive at a place and I'll look through people that I know. I'm like, oh yeah, either former students or professors or things. People are around because people travel a lot. And the type of having been to other universities, the type of connection that you have with someone who you've shared this kind of space with, where you've talked about much deeper things, much deeper personal growth topics, you kind of tend to dive right in much quicker. And so in terms of like job opportunities, career opportunities, connections, we all know that, who you know has a huge impact on your opportunities. And when you can know, when your network is of people that you really feel like you trust and you're connected with deeply, then that's just a whole other level of benefit.
Yeah, thank you so much for touching on that, the lasting community that goes beyond MIU. And remember that this university is part of a global organization, which means that if you're an online student and you live around the Boston area, Baruti will be taking care of you. So he'll be the one teaching you TM and conducting the group TM or the retreats. So we want you to feel that support, whether you're online or in Fairfield. And someone had asked how you continue with developing consciousness. If you're in Fairfield, we have the whole suite of advanced techniques. The local TM center near you, you need to check in and find out what they're offering and what their program is. But if you can come to Fairfield, even as an online student, students will come here maybe for a month or two, and then they can get their advanced techniques. So just a little bit about that. And there's so much more. I know we didn't address everything, but we have more webinars coming up that will be more program specific. I'm going to do some of the closeout points, very, very practical. But before I do that, thank you to our panelists. I think you felt the vibrancy here, and that with this community, we can really weather any storm, and that the level of connection we have really goes beyond all differences. We have a whole diverse set of philosophies, religions, non-religious, atheists, the whole gamut are attracted to this university, which means you really have to connect across many, many different positions and lifestyles, and then feel that warmth. So thank you to our panelists. I'm going to go out to the closer here, and feel free to chat with our panelists if you want to. So our next entry for all of online undergraduate programs is in April. So that's all of our online undergraduate programs and specializations. And then the next full entry is in August. So that includes our graduate programs and our undergraduate programs. And we want to emphasize that there's 3 different ways you can be a student. You can come and be in person in our community, which allows you to access all the local resources, the local TM Center, all the advanced techniques. But if you can't, that's fine. We have a lot of online ways to be a part of our community. And there's also a third way, which is this hybrid. So you can move to Fairfield with your family and enroll your students in the K through 12 school that's affiliated with the university, and you can still continue working, right? So these 3 options are available. Amin, can you go to the, yeah, that's what Fairfield looks like. It's a small town in southeast corner of Iowa, which is nice and tranquil and relatively safe, which is one of the reasons people come. Okay, and there's the Golden Domes. Transfer credits, it's for undergraduate students, we have a generous transfer policy up to 90 credits. And I believe it was the Bachelor's of Arts and Sciences that Baruti was mentioning. So this is where a lot of the specializations are housed under the arts and sciences, and then you can get a specialization in positive psychology or consciousness and human potential, Ayurveda, et cetera, et cetera. Next is, okay, good. More than 90% of the students receive extensive aid. Next. Every page of our website has that apply button. So it makes it really easy to go right to the application. Very easy to fulfill. There's the next entries. Okay, so if you need more information, we will continue to have these super awesome interactive webinars. The ones in February will feature specific programs. I believe now we've got consciousness and human potential and positive psychology coming up, as well as the Ayurveda program. So just make sure you attend those. Otherwise, there's these meet your professor option. Okay. If you want to request a meeting. And if you want to find out more about TM, even before you start as a student, you can go ahead and learn the transcendental meditation technique. But I do want to let you know that if you apply and get accepted, you can now go to any TM center and your cost will be covered, okay, as a student. So you don't have to pay an additional fee. So that's a perk for getting your application in, getting enrolled, and then having access to learning. Did I miss anything? Okay, I think we're good. So thank you so much for attending. And the next one will show you the QR code to watch any of our replays. There you go. Thank you for attending. Nice to meet all of you.